Okay. So, let's, okay, just shush. Everybody. Guys, like, everybody just stop talking. We're going to take a look at, I don't know. Doesn't matter what we're talking about. Let's just, again, like, I don't know. Say that we're doing, A, B, C, D, and E, because I can't think of anything else, and let's do F. Let's do 6 things. And down the side, we'll do A, B, C, D, E, and F, because I can't think of anything clever for it to be today. Yep. Okay, so there's not going to be any distance from A to A, because A is A, but the distance from A to B, I'm going to say, in this case, I'm just going to make up a distance, and we'll say it's 10. From A to C is, we'll do 8, A to D is 6, A to E, that's a 6, A to E is 5, and A to F is 8. This is a 10. From A to B is a 10. And then from A to A is nothing because A is A. And then I don't have to do B to A because there's already an A to B. And I don't have to do B to B because B is B. But B to C, let's say, is, I don't know, like 2. And then let's do B to D is 4. B to E is 7. B to F is 9. I don't have to do C to A because there's already A to C. Stop talking. I don't have to do C to B because there's already B to C. I don't have to do C to C because C is C. C to D, I'll say is, I don't know, 11. And then C to E is 2. And then, bless you, C to F is 3. And then for D, I don't have to do D to A because there's A to D. I don't have to do D to B. I don't have to do D to C. I don't have to do D to D because D is D. But I do have to do D to E, and let's say D to E is really short, like it's 1 or something. And then let's do D to F is 12. Okay, and then we'll do E. So I don't have to do E to A, because that's already been done. E to B, E to C, E to D. I don't have to do E to E because E is E. And then E to F, I'm going to say is 6. Okay, just both of you. Can we just get it all resolved, please? That doesn't, just get it resolved.
It's resolved.
Okay.
I got my pencil back.
Okay, then can we continue with this, please?
Yeah.
Great. All right, and now I don't have to do anything with F because I've already done A to F, so all of these things with F are already done. So now I just need to make a weighted graph. So everything that I've done so far is stuff that we've already done. So I've got these 6 points, A, B, C, D, E, F. I'm going to make them in space here somewhere. So I'll do A, B, C, D, here's E, and then here's F. So I'm just going to make those 6 points in space somewhere roughly circular to one another. Right?
Sure.
Okay. Just be aware, midterm grades are being finalized for me today.
What time are you finalized?
They're going to be finalized when I have my prep period today.
What period is that?
That's 8th.
So if I get some...
No. Anything that's, if it's not already on my desk right now, it's not being added to anything.
Okay.
So I mean, if it's not on my desk now, this instant, right now, forget about it. okay? But like,
So I got to do them now.
no, I'm saying like,
If I stop doing though, like,
Yeah, midterm, you can still turn it.
right. I mean, you can still hand stuff in if it's an assignment that is set as missing right now. Just because it's set as missing now, you can still you can still make that credit up. It doesn't mean that it's going to be 0 forever. I'm letting you guys know that. Wow. Some of the grades. Wow. Some of them are great. Some of you guys, awesome. Keep on doing what you're doing. Good job.
can I get decent?
Yeah, no, some of you guys,
That's garbage right now. Yeah, I don't know what I am.
Do you guys want more?
some of you guys, wow. Okay. So A to B, I'm just gonna freehand these. A to B is 10. A to C is 8. So these are real bad lines. A to D is 6. A to E is 5. And A to F is 8. B to C is 2. B to D is 4. B to E is 7. B to E, or yeah, I did that one. And B to F is 9. Okay, and then C to D is 11. C to E is 2. And then C to F is 9. And then, wait, did I do that right? No, I did that wrong. I totally just messed that up, didn't I? Grr. That one should be C to F is 3. 11, 2, 3. Mr. Shaft. And then D to E is 1. And then D to F is 12. And then E to F is 6. Okay. So you end up with this graph that's a little more complicated than the ones that we've been seeing before. Right? Yes, no, maybe so?
Yep.
Okay. Now, sorting edges rather than doing nearest neighbor. So nearest neighbor, you'd start with one point that you'd say is your home, and then you'd choose the shortest path each time, and then you'd work your way around until you end up back at your home. Repeated nearest neighbor, you do that for each of the vertices, and then you'd see which one of them is the most efficient or which one like ends up adding up to the least. For sorting edges, you're going to look at each of these edges here. So I've got like 8, 5, 6, 8, 10, 9, 7, 3, 2, 1, da, da, da. You're going to look through all of these edges and see which edge costs the least. So which edge has the smallest weight. Which one? ED, right. So right now, this edge is the edge that has the least weight. So this is going to be the edge that I'm going to start with. So I'm either going to say that I'm going to start with E and go to D, or I'm going to start with D and go to E. So like one of these two is my starting point. I'm going to go either from D to E to start or from E to D to start. So one of these two is my starting point. And then from there, I'm going to look at what the next least expensive edge that's near to them is. Okay, wait. Whoa, okay, slow down. You guys are, okay, so E to B, you're saying?
Okay, no, and then go from
E
E, and then from
to
E to
D,
C.
and then D to B is like 3.
Yeah, E to C is 2.
Yeah, well, it's right there.
Yeah, E to C is 2 though, right?
Oh, that's okay, alright, yeah.
That's what I said, you see.
So if
Yeah, I did actually.
so if we were to say D to E and then E to C, so let's start making this up. So if we were to go D to E and then E to C, so this would be 1 and then 2. So let's start building this path. So that would be 1
Yeah,
and then this would be 2.
CB.
And then now we could use
CB.
CB, which would be another 2. No, we don't want to go back to D because we've already been to D.
So be F, or be A, F.
So we could go to F. We don't want to go back to E because we've already been to E. So we could go back to F. We could go to A, but that's expensive because that's 10. So yeah.
Yeah.
So B to F. Wait, hold on. I didn't put in my cost from C to B here.
That's true.
So to F, my cost is 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then that would be this path here. Wait, I don't want to go back to C because I have to go to A now. To A, which would be 8. And then now I can go back to where I started, which is D.
A to D is 6.
Yeah, I would say it is
A to D.
Yeah.
Isn't A to D 8?
Yes.
Oh no, it's 6, you're right. I drew my line. I must be looking at my line wrong. You guys are right.
Oh, okay.
I'm wrong. I'm looking at A to C for some reason. Okay, so then that means that so this is sorting edges. So rather than so repeated neighbor, our nearest neighbor, you'd focus on a point and then you'd use the smallest values around that point. Sorting edges, you'd use the smallest value of the smallest edge, and then you'd use that to build the least value circuit that you can. And so the cheapest circuit on here, or the cheapest edge on here, is this one right here. That's from E to D. This is 1. And then you're using that to build the cheapest circuit that you possibly can. And so the cheapest circuit that we can build using sorting edges is 1 plus 2 plus 2. So this is 3, 5, 14, plus 8 is 22, plus 6 is 28. So 28 would be the least expensive sorting edges circuit that we could come up with from here. If we were to try to do nearest neighbor, we'd have a different value. So if we were to pick starting at D and do nearest neighbor, we'd probably have a different value as well. Kind of, sort of? Okay. So let's take a look at our assignment. Only 2 problems on today's assignment. There's 3 parts to both of them, which is why there's only 2 problems. You're going to need a separate sheet of paper. So you need, so I mean, you are going to need a separate sheet of paper for the assignment. So grab some of
Really?
Yep. Rulers would be great too.
Yeah.
Those are helpful.
How much?
the drawer marked rulers.
It's actually a drawer called rulers.
Yep, and there's a drawer marked rulers. Okay. So, on your assignment, the first half, or I'll go through half the assignment with you guys, and then you guys can do the other half
So
yourselves.
you'll do one problem.
Right. Because there's two problems, and like it's essentially the same thing for both of them. So I'll do half of the assignment with you guys. Shown in the table below are the one-way airfares between 5 cities. Create a graph showing this data. So you don't really have enough room to do the graph on here, so please don't try to like squeeze the graph on there. Please do it on a separate sheet of paper. So on the separate sheet of paper, 5 cities are Seattle.
I feel like the first letter.
Sure. You don't have to spell out the city. You can use first letter. Honolulu, London, Moscow. Honolulu, London. Moscow and Cairo. I have some in my desk. You need one?
Oh, sorry. Take some here.
What? What? A ruler?
No.
Cough drop?
Sorry, that was really
Yeah, it was super confusing. The only other ones I have now are the ones that taste bad.
Do you want this one back?
No, it's fine. I'm fine with the ones that taste bad.
At least they work.
Um,
Why do I need a ruler?
you don't. Like you.
Why did I grab it? I don't know why I need to
Okay. Just shush. Can you guys just be nice to each other?
No.
I will just pick it up.
I don't think you'd be nice to for a whole week. Exactly.
654.
It's not calling me.
Sorry.
That was the first one I've ever done. Why would I put
What is use sort of measure mean?
Sorry, say that again.
What is use sort of measure?
It's what we just learned today.
Oh.
Okay, so nearest neighbor and London as the home. So if you're using London as the home, then you're going to choose whichever path is the cheapest out of London first. So out of London, you've got 830, 370, 323, and 245. So which is the cheapest out of London first? So you're going to go London to Moscow, which is 245. And then from Moscow, you're going to go the next cheapest flight out. And from Moscow, you've got 854, which is to Honolulu. You've got 654, which is to Seattle. And then you've got 320, 329, which is to Cairo. So which is the cheapest from Moscow? 329, which goes to Cairo. Right? Now from Cairo, you're going to take the cheapest. You can't go to Moscow because you've already been there. You can't go to London, you've already been there. So your options are either Honolulu, which is $801, or Seattle, which is $684, which is the cheapest. So you're going to go to Seattle, which adds another $684. And once you're in Seattle, you can't go to Cairo, Moscow, or London because you've already been to those places. So you have to go to Honolulu, which from Seattle costs you $159. And then from Honolulu, you have to go back to London, which is another $830. So that's your trip. So your trip is London to Moscow to Cairo to Seattle to Honolulu back to London. And then you have to add up these airfares. So you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You should have 6 stops on your trip. And you should have 5 airfares. So you're going to add up your 5 airfares to find out how much it's going to cost altogether to come back to where you started. So grab your robot buddy friend. 2,247. Anybody care to check our friend Mr. Mason?
I thought that too.
Okay. So somebody checked him though, so that's good. Cool. So that's nearest neighbor with London as the home. So that's A. Part B is nearest neighbor. Now we already did London with we already did nearest neighbor with London. Now we have to do nearest neighbor with the other 4 cities. So we already did with London starting. We're going to do it starting at Moscow, Cairo, Seattle, and Honolulu to see how much it's going to cost for each of them. So if we start at, say, Moscow for nearest neighbor. So for Moscow, our options for our first flight if we say Moscow is the home, our options for our first flight would be 245. Yeah, that's repeated nearest neighbor. I know. So 245, 854, 323, or 329. Which one's least expensive? 245? Yeah. So Moscow to London's the first flight, which is 245. And then once you get to London, your options are 323, 370, or 830. So then you're going to go to Cairo, which is 323. And then once you get to Cairo, your options are 801 or 684. So to Seattle, which is 684. And then your options are just 159, which is Honolulu. Yeah. And then 854. So then adding all those up. $2,265. So that's the Moscow circuit, and now you have to do the Cairo circuit. So starting in Cairo, your least expensive ticket would either be $329, $323, $801, or $684. $323, so you go Cairo to London, which is $323. And then from London, your options are $245, $370, or $830. So $245, so you go to Moscow. And then from Moscow, your options are stop, $854 or $654. So you go to Seattle. We're doing part B. And then once you're in Seattle, you have to go to Honolulu because that's the only city you haven't visited yet. And from Seattle, Honolulu costs how much? Mm-hmm. And then from Honolulu, you have to go back to Cairo, which costs how much? $801. So then that full circuit and now you have to do it 2 more times, once for Seattle and once for Honolulu. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of work. You're right. I mean, so for Seattle, your cheapest option out is going to be Honolulu, which is $159. And then from Honolulu, you got 801, 854, or 830. So Cairo at $801. What? Yeah. Then I can't see it though. And now I have no idea because I can't see my paper anymore. Okay. So Moscow, which is how much? No, so this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now you need to go back to where you started. Oh, yeah. Well, I did on Thursday. However, no. Strangely enough, on Thursday, when I showed a video, only 2 of those assignments made it in.
I was gone Thursday.
I know that you were. Just saying, I find it strange.
I was gone most of the period.
So,
I was probably gone.
what I decided to do is the people who handed their assignments in got full credit. I'm deciding whether or not the people who didn't hand their assignments in and weren't legitimately absent, whether or not I should put them in INL and have them watch the video in INL.
Do it. What's the video?
Why ships sink? Because I was
I didn't even know we got. Well, they sink is because when you get water, it's just too much weight.
There's more to it than that, but yeah.
Like the Titanic.
more to it than that.
The weight is kind of.
There's more to it than that. I appreciate that. I appreciate that, but
I read a book on that surgery.
I'm sorry.
I got one that's 1,904.
I don't know. Is that the one that starts at? Let's see, we did London.
Still have one more.
I know.
So I did the one to Honolulu and I got 1,904.
That might be the one that starts at Honolulu. Sure. I haven't done that one yet. But I gotta say, when I was grading stuff this morning, when my second period was doing their tests, and I got to this class's Why Ships Sink, and there were only 2 of them, I was not happy.
Was mine in the box?
No,
I announced it.
there were 2.
Okay. I just got it, turned it in, just threw it on the counter.
Yep. Nope, didn't get it.
My shit, where's it?
There were 2. I can give you like,
One of them.
I can give you 2 guesses whose they were though. Oh yeah.
What about Becca? Is Becca here?
Were you here Thursday?
Becca wasn't here. Becca
No,
wasn't
I
here.
wasn't here.
Yeah, no, that's why it wasn't Becca's.
I'm still understand. I know
The guns are burning now.
He's only saying that because he was legitimately absent on Thursday.
No, he's only saying that because he was famous.
Me?
No, him.
Okay, Steve, shush.
It's Honolulu to Seattle, Seattle to London, London to Cairo.
How much is Seattle to London?
Seattle to London.
270?
3.
370. And then what's next?
London to Cairo.
How much is that?
29.
Six.
Wait, hold on. I did that wrong. So it's London to Moscow.
London to Moscow.
Yeah.
How much is London to Moscow?
Moscow,
245.
And then from Moscow to Cairo.
Which is how much?
329.
329.
And then from Cairo
How much is Cairo to Honolulu?
801.
801. Okay. So let's see how much this is. So we got 159 plus 370 plus 245 plus 329 plus 801. Yep. Yes, Rebecca. This one is $1,904. Alright, so that's part B. So part B, the least expensive circuit, is the one from Honolulu. So your answer to part B has two pieces to it. So it's not just the number part, you also have to say what the circuit itself is. So for part B, you don't just answer, you wouldn't just answer the $1,904. You would also answer Honolulu to Seattle to London to Moscow to Cairo to Yeah, you can, so long as you say that this one is the one that's least expensive for part B. Kind of, sort of. Now for sorting edges, so to use the sorting edges algorithm, you would start with by finding which of these flights is least expensive.
Like, from where to where? The
Seattle to Honolulu, right? Okay, so you'd start with knowing that since this is the least expensive flight, that we're going to start our entire circuit either at Seattle or at Honolulu, and knowing that we either need to begin and end at one of these places. Now from here, we need to look for another inexpensive flight that either originates from Seattle or from Honolulu. From Honolulu, the rest of the flights are $800.
Alright, so going from Seattle.
Right. Where another inexpensive flight would be the 370. You with me? So then we'll do this one.
Do we have to draw it in?
I'm drawing it in just so that I can see it. Like, it helps me see what's going to be there. And then now I'm at London, so I got this 245, 323. I can't do this one again. That's why I drew it in, so I know I can't use that again.
245. Right?
Yep. And again, that's why I draw it in, so that I know I can't use it again. And now I got 329, 654, 854. So I'm going to use this one. So I've gone Honolulu, Seattle, London, Moscow, Cairo. And now I have to go back to Honolulu. Yep. Nope, it's the only option I have. Because I have to make a circuit. And so using sorting edges, it's Honolulu to Seattle to London to Moscow. Now, the sorting edges came up with the same, like we did all that work to find the least expensive one using repeated nearest neighbor, and sorting edges found it much faster. That was why I showed you sorting edges.
Oh, okay, I see.
Because it was a faster way of finding the cheapest one.
Way quicker.
Kind of, sort of.
Yep.
Okay, so the second problem is pretty much the same stuff. So, paper, start by drawing stuff out.
I have my missing times, please.
I will take a look at it in a minute.